My name is Mark Exner. I've been at this for 47 years at the end of the month. I want to go over some things regarding the wet cleaning, dry cleanables, because you know how they are with green things, right? And trying to get it done where they take the tools from you almost daily. And unfortunately, we're stuck. I have written a whole lot of textbooks. This is one that I wrote, and they're for sale later, but I actually wrote two versions that we're going to show today. One of them is the IRC version, and then I wrote one almost identical for women to clean fabrics so we can get the girls to work. So we get these poor gals that have the need to earn an income, and we can teach them how to clean fabrics. We're seeing a lot of the guys that have wives that want a job and they can earn $3,000, $4,000 working very, very few hours a day doing this. This is fabric cleaning is an absolute non-competitive area. We're looking at all those mattresses we're not cleaning. We're cleaning 1% of the world's draperies. We're cleaning less than 10% of the world's fabric. All this has to do with area rugs. It's a prerequisite for cleaning area rugs, right? And I believe totally that we're missing out. This is probably the highest % profit thing you can do in cleaning, except maybe leather, which is part of it. So a textbook that I've got also has leather in it. It's an IRC book for fabric UFT, but I wrote the basics in leather. So you guys have lots of handouts here, and I've got the offerings in the back, because I'm not here to sell you books, but you can get a hold of me. My contact information. I don't charge for tech support. I've been at this 47 years, the end of this month. I've never charged for tech support. Makes me a lot of friends. It keeps me on the phone all day.
Your name is Mark?
Mark, yep. There's cards, and it's on the back sheet. So I want to just show you some quick highlights. And the handout is actually based on you knowing what the fabric types are, because you have to. You guys how many guys have cleaned fabric before? You guys have ever had a certification class? When you have one, they should talk a lot about the designer stuff, because you can clean a designer stuff, right? You should be able to clean a $5,000 silk sofa when you leave those courses. Because they're not this wash and wear stuff, because you know a lot of it's polyester, right? Right? The money's in the hard stuff. The hard money's in the good stuff, right? The goods. And when you get fabric cleaning at such a high level of acceptance to the consumer, that when they do that, they love you to clean other things, because the acceptance level and trust level is huge. How many people need their mattresses done? They've been living at home for 2 years. Mattress cleaning is great. The average guys are getting $130 to $150 to clean a single mattress. It takes you, after setup, less than 30 minutes. Most of that's polyester cotton. It's great. So there's a lot of opportunity in fabric, and we're really missing out on it. You guys have all kinds of handouts here. They're free if you guys want them. You're welcome to them. There's plenty of them here. Just grab one. I did something that I have never seen a school do, and I wish we all would. And one of them here is just learning, before we go too far, is learning the absorbency rates of fabrics and carpet. Nobody does this. They should, right? You should know the difference between 0% and 30, right? Wool's at 30. Did that make a difference? Well, sure, because you're more absorbent. You're going to list more. It's going to hold more soil. It's going to hide more soil, right? It's going to hide more stain. So when we go to clean it, we know what we're up against. That you can use this for carpet, fabric, and area rugs. It's right there. It's free. Good? So as we do this, we can look at the different absorbency rates. It tells us what's going to dry fast, what's going to dry slow, and what our risks are, right? Why would you want to dry clean something if you can use a water-based solution and make more money? Right? Because our job is to get it not clean, but we want to restore it. This industry talks too much about cleaning, not enough about restoring it. If I had a white t-shirt like this guy here, all right, and I spilled grape juice on it, right? I have the blessing of putting it in the wash machine, but we don't if it's a fabric, right? So I can get it clean. If I got 90% of that out, it's not restored. I want to get the stain out. Isn't that a better level? So as professionals, we get paid more, right? Okay. So we talk about wet versus dry cleaning. There's a lot of misnomers on it, as you probably know. And the wet versus dry cleaning has a lot to do with this figure right here. Let me show you something. What happened on this? This has gone on me. Okay. Come on, Mark. We have too much of this. We have too many fears of fabric. What's the problem with fearing cleaning fabric? What's the problem?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Huh? Shrinkage. Well, you have to work really hard to shrink something today. You're more apt to damage it by brushing it the wrong way. So if we don't have that, if we get over the fear, can we clean it? You know what the hard part is? I cleaned for 20 years without cleaning fabric on a full-time basis. What did I miss out on? Most of the stuff in fear doesn't really happen. There's very little bleeders out there. I cleaned fabric every day for a company in the early 80s when we had a lot more bleeders, and I found 5 bleeders in 2.5 years working full-time. And those were high-end stuff. So we don't have a lot of fear. We go into that. So what about the dry cleaning side? Should we dry clean everything? The only thing you're going to get out is the actual skin oils and the dog oils, the cat oils. You're going to get out the light stuff because it dissolves with petroleum solvent. You'll be able to clean draperies all the time and all these fabric wall coverings you see and all those, right? All the blinds. It's great stuff. But that's good. You only want to dry clean when you actually have to. And you have an issue where you fear you're going to change the texture. The one fiber they recommend officially through the RCC and others is silk. Because when you use a water-based solution on silk, it's not going to have that nice papery feel anymore. And they don't like that when they're done with it. Okay? So how do we take something like this? Have we fiber ID'd this? We're going to do that first, right? Right? And we're going to take that. Do you know what this is? It's a hemostat. You can get the small ones for about $5, $6 and the large ones for, this one's about $15. I use it for demos because it's large. And you can actually pull the yarn off after you cut it, and there's your sample. How professional does that look? You single guys, when you go to parties, don't say nothing. What do you look like? Yeah, good. That was free. All right. So when we're going to try to do a wet cleaning, which is the purpose today, and I'm going to do some filling with you too. Good. When we try to do a dry cleaning, we're going to vacuum first, right? After we fiber ID. How much soil does the RCC standard of S300? How much soil do we get on an average of fabric, percent-wise? About 80%. Is that good? So that means if you do a light cleaning, you're less apt to streak it. That's good, right? Because that means we use less solution to clean. Is that worth it? Okay. So if you want to do that, this is what's called the barrier method. The barrier method's in your handout. Okay? And before I do that, let's hit this wet and dry cleaning. The wet cleaning is using a water-based solution. I don't like the term wet because the customer thinks you're using the term soak, right? But that's an industry term we can't get around. So it should say water-based cleaning, right? Everybody likes water. When they say solvent, you're using oil. People can't believe it's actually a cleaning agent. So if you're going to use a wet cleaning, it says most fabrics clean best on the water-based side, because they do. The soils are soluble in water, right? Stains are soluble in water, except your inks and your petroleum-based oils like shoe polish and all that, right? Go down a little bit. It says when wet cleaning fabrics, the technicians are constantly cautious over wetting fabric. That's the problem. We spray things down and we don't wet vac them very well. We don't wet vac them very well. So if we get the excess moisture out, we don't have much to worry about, right? And we're going to do some of those demos. Now when we're dry cleaning, we use a solvent base. Many people do not know that solvent base is a cleaning agent. They don't understand the concept. See, does that look like water? That's oil. It's petroleum solvent. How safe is that? Very safe. Should I be wearing gloves? Yeah. I'm just showing you on my skin. It's very safe, okay? So when we're going to try to use what's called the barrier method, okay? The barrier method's been around about 50, 60 years. I didn't invent it. I kind of wish I did. But when we're using a barrier method, come on, I got handouts for you guys. They're free. So when we're going to use a barrier method, after we fiber ID and we dry clean, we use a dry vacuum, right? We're going to dry vacuum it. We put a layer of dry cleaning solvent down. The solvents today have gone up. As you know, petroleum's gone up, gasoline's gone up. These petroleum-based solvents are what's called a dry solvent. Dry means there's no water in it, right? And it's odorless mineral spirits, OMS based. It's the safest solvent. It's known as safety solvent. You have to put a match to it to have a fire, not the fumes, the match. Okay, as opposed to paint thinner and other things that have more volatility to them to explode and actually cause fire. So on this case, we would spray the dry cleaning solvent on it. We would spray it on, and I'm going to just do this one here, and I'll do another one too. I'm going to do a little microfiber to show you too. Now what I did, how much did I actually use? About 2/3 of an ounce. So petroleum solvent, can you smell it? It's actually dry. How wet's my hand? That's pretty cool. So what you did is you put when you spray the dry solvent, you have to spray it per panel. If you're going to clean like an arm, you spray the arm. If you're going to do the side panel, you spray the side panel. You clean it panel to panel. This allows you a lot of advantages. So as we put that down, it's instantly dissolving the body oils. It's instantly dissolving the dog oils. Instantly. I get a lot of cleaners call me that they can't get that dog rubbing in front of the sofa out. It's so easy. Once you vacuum, you spray the petroleum solvent, the OMS base, and it comes in a lot of brands. You just mist it kind of heavy, and you can brush it if you want with a horsehair brush, soften it. If you want to get a better coverage, just spray the brush. Even when you're wet cleaning, that way it spreads it deep. We did that with shampoo brushes on carpet. Why can't we do it in fabric? All fabric is carpet cleaning miniaturized, right? Takes the mystery out of it. So if you want to brush it, and if you're dry cleaning, you would just take the machine and just suck it dry. That's all you do. But the machine must be able to take in solvents. You don't want to do this with a truck mount or a portable design. It has to be a machine design. The reason I partners as a school for KleenRite is they make the only fabric machine left in the entire cleaning market. All the rest of them, US Procs, they're all gone. They're all gone. All we have is this, which is a great machine, but it's the only choice you have, so it better be good, right? And it is. And I'll show you the difference of that. Now you're able to pull that moisture out of the solvent, right? And now it's basically done. Then you would just take a towel and you can wipe off the excess. Now when you use a towel, you want to fold it like that, over like that, and like that. So how many cleaning sides do you have? 1, 2, right? Right? 3, 4, and invert it. You have 8 sides to one towel. Not because you don't like to do laundry, but the cleaner the towel side stays, right? And the fresher it is, the more. And you can just wipe up the excess. It's that simple. How's that? Okay? Now, if you're going to use the barrier method, which I'm going back because we're trying to learn how to do quick learning of getting a water-based cleaning, right, out of a dry cleanable. The only time you probably won't use this is on a silk. The reason is the water's going to seep in somehow. You may have an issue. This will help keep the water rings out too. You guys have to clean a sofa cushion and you're afraid to do it, put the solvent down and then clean it because it won't leave water marks. Just make sure you get the entire edge clean and use a hair dryer. So let's put the solvent back down. OMS solvent on itself, with the way they're formulated in the industry, will typically take 1 to 2 hours to dry. And you should have some ventilation when you do this. Now, what we want to do then, if we're going to use a wet clean process, we'll put the dry solvent down. That limits how far the water can go. It's not going to penetrate past the solvent as long as you put an even coat. And again, you're not using very much. You see how much is in here? That'll do two 7-foot sofas. So how economical is that? That's about $6 worth of solvent. How profitable is that? Any brand. So after we put that down to wet clean it, I knew this was not going to work, right? Trigger sprayers don't work when? In front of the customer. All the stuff they invent, they want to be my friend after 47 years doing this. Give me a spray trigger that works in front of my customer. Everybody say amen. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, what I did is I used a water solvent, right? A water solvent. You ever hear of traffic lane cleaner? It's a water solvent. Could you use one that's low pH? That would be ideal. Okay? If it's very soiled, you can have one of these and put a little traffic lane booster. You know traffic lane boosters? They're what's called a blended solvent. You can put a little bit in there, it'll penetrate even better. Those are in the worst areas. You can take your soft brush, if it's a more hardy fabric, this one's a cotton, you can use, this is what's called Tampico. It's a natural fiber, but it's a little bit more aggressive. You can agitate the pile, preferably both ways. If the nap is in a nap and you can see the difference, you really want to always go down. By going down, you can put the pre-spray on here too. Now I see this is quite dry. How wet's my hand? So the only thing really going to get wet, when I turn that on, it's going to bounce on the fabric, pull the soil out, and go in the machine. It's not magic, it's real simple. You want to see it? Now when you turn any kind of machine on for heat, it's going to get cold in the water line, right? This has been preheated for me. So I'm going to turn this on, let it run for a second. You guys do this with your wands when you're cleaning. Get a dumb bucket and put the dumb spray in there, so when you're starting your areas, you don't have to wait for the hot water to hit. Because maybe the area you're starting is the hottest area. This is a textbook on how to teach women to clean fabric. It's my baby. Okay? You should have about that much suction. You might be cleaning a $1,200 chenille sofa. This has an internal jet. There's no overspray. You're not over-wetting the fabric when you think you're drying it. And it has a vacuum that's split into 3 sections so it doesn't overpull the fabric. You can clean cars with this too. SUVs. So, I'm going to show you. This is the cotton. Are we going to overlap? Going to overlap? It's really hard work. I almost broke a sweat. I've been at this for 47 years this month. And I started as a 19-year-old kid, and I'm full retirement. I'm still working longer than I've ever have. You gotta love this industry. Now, how wet is that? Want to feel it? How wet is that? There's nothing on your hand. I just wet cleaned a dry cleanable. Now you want to groom it with the pile, right? Whichever way it goes down. Now, if you really want to fluff it up, if it is a natural pull, when you have a piece, you groom from the top down, right? Top down? Okay. If you really want to fluff it up and wow them, go upward. Watch the nap. See the nap? See the nap, how it's going up? Like a hairstylist, they fluff it up. How you doing? So then go down, look. Pure sex appeal on a cushion. Isn't that great? Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Never mind the stain I didn't get out. Look at the side here. Pay no attention to that guy behind the curtain. That's what Dorothy said, right? Okay. Is that good? Okay, now feel that. It's even drier. Now, if you want to get it even drier, before you groom, towel it. Toweling's the secret. This is not electrical. You don't have to plug it in. You don't have to worry about a battery. Remember we saw our sides? Okay? If you want to towel it on those extra damp areas, and you can tell if there's something on the towel if I didn't get it out, which is good. You want to save your white towels for the customer demonstration, because you know how brown they get. Do me a favor, when you're washing your towels, use laundry detergent, not a soap. Like Tide is really good because that's why it costs more. But when you put a little bleach in there, make sure you run it, when it's all done, run it through another complete wash cycle with nothing. You can't afford residue on this when it transfers. But look at the difference. You can't even see the water. You just wet clean a dry cleanable fabric with about an ounce worth of product. It's not a mystery. On the handouts, I got about 10 more minutes before I get canned. So I want to look at this. I gave you some samples. These are the yarn absorbency rates of the things you'll find from area rugs to fabrics to carpet. Those are the actual approximate absorbency rates. Cotton, you know how absorbent cotton is, right? Well, you can often tell your customer, they usually have a bath or shower that morning. They know how absorbent cotton is. People relate to things. Talk like you relate to them. Well, that fabric if it's cotton, they know it's going to dry slow. They hang the dumb thing up. It takes a while. Yeah, shut that off. And the back, the middle one. Middle one. So thank you. So now wool is 30%. It's twice that. So how fast is the wool going to dry? See, give them a number. They understand it. Give them a rating system. The best ribs you ever had, right? The best burger you ever had. They relate to that, right? On here, I also gave you, these are excerpts of one of my textbooks. I've got 17, not quite done yet, different ones. My stuff's on the back. So, how many of you guys know the pH scale? You know, I was at this 16 years before I knew there was a pH scale. How lucky was I? How lucky was I? You don't want to be lucky, you want to be good, right?
No training, you had no training.
You know, training.
Or bad training.
I had a lot of bad training. We're going to do the tack theory here tomorrow, but you guys can be here tomorrow? Here tomorrow, be here in the tack theory tomorrow. If you don't know the tack theory, you shouldn't clean anything. It tells you how to get something clean every time perfect. It was invented by Carl Williams, who I was blessed to be tutored by him for about 18 years. Where's your pH scale go? You guys know how to buy products? You know the difference between the fabric pre-spray at 8.5 and 9? If this is a 9 versus an 8, it's 10 times its chemical activity. Is that good to know? You can't brown anything out with an 8. You may not even brown out a silk. If you get the 9, you're in trouble. When you clean carpet, what kind of pH you like to use? Sky high, right? Why? Because it reacts, right? Is that good? But you take something like this, and it's a traffic lane of 9.5. Is that stronger than an 8? Yeah, 10 times, isn't it? 8.5. So you get those 10 times difference. Is that a big difference? So another thing this industry has not learned, even on fabric cleaning, is that you can take these pre-sprays, even if they're designed for fabric, and put a little bit of a traffic lane booster in it. That's called a blended solvent on a generic sense. The blended solvent is different types of oil removing agents, all blended into one, water and solvent base together. And it has a unique way to remove all the oils very simply, but you have to rinse well. So we missed on a lot of good information. That's why it's so great to see you guys here. I love to see people learn. Because, you know, I can't cover all the jobs in the world myself, right? And I really don't want to. Some of the things you may not have noticed, I'll show you some of these. This is a tool that's been floating out there to remove hair. How many guys have tried to remove hair from fabric? Is it fun? Should be outlawed, huh? Thank you. Big part. So one of the things you can do when you get the hair, you take a brush like this. You can also take a tamping brush, which is a little rough, but these are pretty safe, and you want to hit it from the side. The trick is we're trying to do this. Hit it from the side. Now you've already pre-vacuumed the excess, right? Hit it from the side and run it into where the vacuum is, because you're actually pulling it out of the actual weave, and you'll have very little issue with it. It's pretty cool, huh? You can get a lot of that out with a fabric shaver, which are out there. Walmart has a great little fabric shaver for about $11, and they last about 3 sofas, and they're golden. They get all this little pulling out between the sofas. Anybody know what this is? Is that leather? How do you know it's not leather? It's polyester. The world's made of polyester today. All of your car panels and seats that are not leather or faux leather, fake leather, they're polyester. How hard is polyester to clean? It can't shrink. It's either solution dyed like in a car where you can pour bleach on it, and straight bleach, you won't take the color out, or it's dispersed dyed like it is in most carpets where you can pour Clorox bleach and it might take 4 hours to take the color out. So you're afraid to clean it? I'm just trying to whet your appetite. I'm not judging you. Make sense? So how hard is microfiber to clean? Microfiber is just a filament that's gone down so small, it's 100th the width of a human hair. It doesn't matter. You can nuke it. You can put anything you want on this stuff. You can spray it down. Let's rinse it. You see, you can tell microfiber is a lot like linen. It actually turns color. Watch how it gets dark. Up 5. You cannot shrink polyester. You cannot shrink microfiber. You can't. I'm going to show you something. See how wet that is? You can't damage it. It's the #1 thing sold today is microfiber. Do you see all these new sofas they got out there in sectionals that they take apart and tell you to put them in the wash machine? Why can't you know why you can do that? There's no natural fabrics in the backing. It's all polyester. You see how wet that? Go tell me how wet that feels. And, no, I want you to insult me. Tell me it's wet. See? If I left that alone and this stale air in here, that would dry bone in about 2 hours. So what are we working? What are we worried about? I can go like that, and you can see it's lighter because I got the excess out. I can towel that and it'll dry. There's no risk to this stuff. So why aren't we cleaning more fabric? This is crazy. Why would you want to work and sweat with a carpet wall when you can do this all day? I know because I do both. You know, I don't fear getting out of bed in the morning after all these years doing this if I'm cleaning fabric all day because I go home about 1/3 as tired. And you guys that want to do leather, it's so unbelievably easy. There's no competition. No competition. So, KleenRite is, you guys, honey, can you pull this off? So, I have a little invention here. Is that? It makes, this is one of my inventions. KleenRite's now making this for me. It's hit the market a few months ago. This goes on the toilet to protect, so when you have a pump out hose, it can connect right to the toilet and not spill out everywhere. And after all these decades of truck mounts since 1971, and if you talk to some of the Judson, they say that they invented about 1965. No one ever thought of locking the thing to the toilet. So that's my invention. They're selling them here. Because you got to think of the consumer. The cleaners don't get enough tools we need, enough information we need. We're always kind of floating. But we need to act more like a family, because we are. One of my students in Baltimore said it years ago. He said, Mark, we are a dysfunctional family. But we can be a high earning money, right? Because I think we're underpaid. I think we're underappreciated, we're underpaid. And I want the consumers to think of us in a higher manner. Okay? I had a car repaired on the way up here because we drove up. You don't know who you're going to trust in car repair. But when you're doing this, it should be real cut and dry. A lot of it's about relationships. A lot about relationships. The last page on that is some of the writings I have not done yet. Some are going to be completed. We're going to be going online and also live classes. I teach for Aramco. They just brought me in. I have RTI next door. And we're going to be teaching the world more of this, both online, different schools, because this is actually, the textbooks are all over 100 pages, and they're all nothing but full color photos of everything I've done and how to do them. This is the RCC one. It's not, they're almost identical. But it shows you everything you can possibly do, and even the designer stuff and how to clean antiques. And it shows you the names and how to clean them so you can identify them, including on-site drapery cleaning. Don't ever charge by the panel, charge by the square foot. Draperies are about a 70% profit margin. Here did a lot of the modeling, but we have a lot of the fabrics here. Even shows you some of the weaves and how they're put together and the things to look out for, so you can show your customer why there's an issue. Because I think we don't have enough information. We'll be doing these. These are the, you want to come up and look at these. These are the residential carpet cleaning. These are all IRCC approved. I teach for them too. I now ISSA. So we got, this is the commercial textbook. We're going to be doing these through KleenRite and other, Aramco's taking all these too. So they'll be around. You won't get rid of me that easy. But it's so great to have you guys. I'm going to be here tomorrow at 5:30. So we're going to do attack theory. It's time, temperature, agitation, chemical. If it's not coming clean, I don't care if it's a floor, if it's a carpet, if it's a wall, you'll know what's going wrong and how to fix it. It's a great theory. It'll really help you. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay? If you guys want a card, you're welcome to it.